Welcome back to Professing Christians. This is Lisa. Today let's talk about heaven and earth, namely the heavens and the earths. To God, heaven is and always was his dwelling. For us, we want to eventually call heaven, his heaven, our home. It's the place professing Christians want to spend eternity with the Father and Jesus. Eternity is forever. What might our future look like? Well, the Bible has a few things to say about the eternity that we hope to inhabit after all things are done, after the final judgment. Let's start with some things Jesus said. First, Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 and 18. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Notice he didn't say, even if heaven and earth pass. He said, until. Next, Matthew 24, verse 35. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Jesus was telling his closest friends, among other things, that heaven and earth shall pass away. In the beginning, God, with Jesus present, see John chapter 1, created the heaven and earth. Now he's saying it's going to pass away. Why would they create it only to have it go away? Heaven and earth must have had a purpose, right? I like how Solomon wondered about God dwelling on earth. 1 Kings 8:27. But will God indeed dwell on the earth? Behold, the heaven and heaven of heavens cannot contain thee. How much less this house that I have built? Solomon had it in his heart to build God a house. I bet it was beautiful. The temple and its laws were for God to inhabit an earthly house through his Levitical priests. But it was God's will that he inhabit man. So he sent his co-creator and son, Jesus, to make a way to dwell on earth in his creation and make their human bodies his temple. See, of course, 1 Corinthians 3:16. But then Jesus tells them, heaven and earth shall pass away. Again, in the words of Jesus, Matthew 28, verse 20, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen. I, of course, am reading from King James, but some other translations say, unto the end of the age. Revelation doesn't tell us too much about what happens at the final judgment, which comes at the end of the little season that we are living in. What we get is Revelation 20, verses 10 and 11, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. The earth and the heaven fled away. This might have been what Jesus was referring to. Fled away in this context means to run away, escape, vanish. That's Strong's G 5343. In this context, it seems to be the heaven, as in the sky. The Bible Concordance does say quite frequently that heaven means sky. And the earth, the land, are vanishing. The next verse in Revelation 20, verse 12, and I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. Thinking in the context of the new heaven and earth, there are some interesting things to consider. The life we are in now, the little season of Revelation 20, consists of a different heaven and earth than the ones the patriarchs and the disciples walked in. The sky firmament was torn open, and wrath was poured out from heaven. Revelation 6:13-14. The earth also was decimated in God's wrath. And yes, in Revelation 21, we have the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from heaven as a bride adorned for her husband after the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Remember Jesus' words in Matthew 25:1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. This is the kingdom of heaven. There were many earthly kingdoms, as evidenced in the Old Testament, and now the oppressor they were dealing with, the Roman one, Jesus wanted to point out there is a heavenly kingdom coming where he is king, and he will have his bride, the people of the New Jerusalem. But again, after all is said and done, what do we have to go on regarding our heavenly estate? Are we all going back to Eden, somewhere on this earth where the tree of life is? These are the questions I have. Let's look at the last chapter in our Bible, Revelation 22. Verse 1, and he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. Verse 2, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. Verse 4, and they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. Verse 5, and there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord God gives them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. So where the tree of life is has no need of a sun. We do have access to another apocalyptic book, one that used to be in our canon, that can give us a bit more information. In chapter 92, Enoch gives a sort of synopsis of the history of the world in weeks. Verse 2, and Enoch said, concerning the children of righteousness, concerning the elect of the world, and concerning the plant of righteousness and integrity, concerning these things will I speak, and these things will I explain to you, my children. I who am Enoch, in consequence of that which has been shown to me, from my heavenly vision and from the voice of the holy angels, have I acquired knowledge, and from the tablet of heaven have I acquired understanding. Enoch then began to speak from a book, and said, I have been born the 7th in the 1st week, while judgment and righteousness wait with patience. He then goes on about 10 total weeks of monumental happenings. Weeks 1 to 5 appear to be what we call the Old Testament, from Adam to Jesus, referred to as the house of glory. Verse 10, after that, in the 6th week, all those who are in it shall be darkened. The hearts of all them shall be forgetful of wisdom, and in it shall a man ascend. And during its completion he shall burn the house of dominion with fire, and all the race of the elect root shall be dispersed. Verse 12, afterwards in the 7th week, a perverse generation shall arise, abundant shall be its deeds, and all its deeds perverse. During its completion, the righteous shall be selected from the everlasting plant of righteousness, and to them shall be given the 7-fold doctrine of his whole creation. Afterwards there shall be another week, the 8th of righteousness, to which shall be given a sword to execute judgment and justice upon all oppressors. Verse 14, sinners shall be delivered up into the hands of the righteous, who during its completion shall acquire habitations by their righteousness, and the house of the great king shall be established for celebrations forever. In week 9, the judgment of righteousness is revealed to the whole world. Verse 15, every work of the ungodly shall disappear from the whole earth. The world shall be marked for destruction, and all men shall be on the lookout for the path of integrity. Next is the judgment on the watchers. Verse 16, and after this, on the 7th day of the 10th week, there shall be an everlasting judgment, which shall be executed upon the watchers, and a spacious eternal heaven shall spring forth in the midst of the angels. And another mention of a new heaven and earth. Verse 17, the former heaven shall depart and pass away. A new heaven shall appear, and all the celestial powers shine with sevenfold splendor forever. Afterwards likewise shall there be many weeks, which shall externally exist in goodness and in righteousness. So there seems to be many changes and ages to our earth and heavens. However, two things from Enoch stand out. Verse 15, this world is marked for destruction. Verse 16, and a spacious eternal heaven shall spring forth. It looks like this earth vanishes, and that's okay. The new eternal heaven will be spacious enough. So that is the thoughts I had on the heavens and the earth and what I wrote in the blog this week. Sometimes when I sit down to write out the blog, I have in mind what I want to write about, and then as I'm digging through the verses, the whole slant of it will change. These are some thoughts on the new heavens and the new earth, but the heavens and the earth seem to be changing a lot. So is that because we have different worlds and different ages? These are just thoughts that I'm having. And I just want to share some of these ideas. I'm not saying this is how it is. In no way, shape, or form do I know with any certainty that this is how any of these things go. But we are a spirit, and a spirit is put into a body, and it's given a soul. And the soul is, of course, the emotions and all of these earthly things. The soul either ends up in hell, or if we end up at the glorified state, we are given new bodies. So the verse that I'm thinking of is Daniel 12, verses 1 and 2. Actually, verse 3 also. At that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which stands for the children of thy people. There shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. And then he says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words, seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So yes, a large part of Daniel talks about the end of time, about like the Antichrist and all of these other things, but does it also go on to what happens after in verse 12 or chapter 12? We have some things in Enoch that tells us possibly Daniel Daniel chapter 12 goes on beyond that. But that is something that we'll have to get into later. These are just some thoughts that I'm having today, and I wanted to share them with you. Thank you for joining me. This is Lisa with Professing Christians.